Well, here I am on the balcony of the ABC Beijing Bureau. Normally quite a good view, but as you can see, it's pretty soupy at the moment. This winter has brought Beijing's air quality into, well, I was going to say sharp focus, but I'm not quite sure that that's the right turn of phrase. Air quality here has been a big problem in recent weeks. In fact, 2 weeks ago, it was off the Richter. It was the highest level that these measuring instruments had been able to cope with, and normally they sort of rate things as sort of dangerous, something hazardous, and then beyond hazardous. It was just, like I say, way beyond anything anyone had ever seen. Well, a few blue sky days, and now it's back. Chinese government officials have promised to do something about this, but it's a huge problem. Basically, coal-fired power stations in neighbouring provinces in Hebei, Shanxi, Inner Mongolia, we get material coming from there, drifting into Beijing, and it's just locked in here by the mountains that surround this city. Of course, then it mixes up with all the stuff that's coming out of cars and this fog that we're seeing as well, and just sits here until the wind comes along. Now, the government might be telling people that it's going to do something about this in the long run, but in the meantime, the residents of Beijing are thinking, why should we wait for decades for this problem to be fixed? In the short term, they're going for other sort of solutions, you know, using this sort of thing, face masks that go on and protect you a little bit, but these particulate matters are so small that they're getting in through the face masks anyway. The solutions are as big as the problem. Really, China's reliance on coal-fired power is at the core of this problem. And driving this economy along, you need electricity. And, you know, when you've got 70 or 80% of your electricity coming from coal-fired power, it's going to be a problem, especially when you've got these power stations that are still using some pretty clapped out technology. You know, they need to be getting the latest gear in there and fixing it up. But, you know, this reliance on coal-fired power is a big part of the problem. Cars is another part of the problem. You know, you've got millions of cars in this city. People need to be taking public transport. Public transport's already rammed, so I can't imagine how much more you can be piling people, for example, onto the subway. So the government's got to come up with more public transport solutions. Another solution which NGOs like Greenpeace have proposed in the short term is for regional governments to start cooperating with one another. For example, at the moment you've got these provincial governors. Now, the number one way in which their performance is measured is GDP growth. Now, if they're competing with one another for better and better GDP growth, they don't want to put the brakes on. They don't want to slow down economic growth. So the only way, according to the likes of Greenpeace, you can get a sort of regional solution together is, say, for the 5 provinces around Beijing to come together with the national government here and come up with a solution for all of, for example, central and northeastern China, because this is not a city's problem. It's much bigger than that. It's a problem of an entire area. But either way, any solution's going to be probably quite some way off. And in the meantime, I guess this is just what we've got to put up with.